Is this like is it another change of lineup? Is it a fresh lineup again, I guess, for the tour?
Well, it is. No, it's the same old lineup, except our drummer who played on the record couldn't make it because he recently got married. He's actually on safari in Africa at the moment.
Oh, cool.
So I couldn't, on honeymoon, right? So
Yeah.
I couldn't really.
Africa,
We tried to move it all back, but
Yeah.
he wasn't having it.
So
Okay.
we got a guy called Dave Donnelly's playing drums with us. And he's real good, you know. So
Cool.
it's good. So the Philistines is a movable feast with whoever's around at the time, but it's kind of beginning to gel into a band.
Mm.
So I didn't want to play bass this time around because I find it hard to play bass and sing at the same time. I love playing bass, but when there's a good singer there, because you know, playing guitar, you can go, well, anyway, I said to her and she said to me, bam, bam, you can do all that.
Yeah.
Can't do that on a bass. So Jim wanted to do some gigs. So he's playing bass, I'm playing rhythm guitar, and there you go.
What do you do, Jim, when you get a call from Glen Matlock saying, I want you to play bass? Is that an intimidating situation?
Well, it is actually. I feel quite privileged, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that kind of discussion, you know, do you want to play bass? And I was like, well, yeah, brilliant. I mean, it's a real pleasure to do that, you know. And he's a great...
It's not rocket science, come on.
No.
I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing with playing bass, though, is knowing when to not play bass too much. I think that's half the problem. with
Yeah.
people.
Is it? Yeah.
Just keep it simple, you know.
What about Flea? Is he
Well,
loud?
he's pretty fiddly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good, he's good for what he does, but for my kind of music, I'm talking about. You know.
I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, it's a fast record. It's definitely, you know, something I would probably listen to driving really fast on a highway
I
somewhere.
think it's a good driving record.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it totally is a driving
How
record.
fast is fast?
Here, I guess maybe like a click 50, maybe about 50.
Oh, just about 50. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we get up to 53 in England, you know.
Yeah, yeah. On the other side, though, which is weird.
Good record to get some speeding fines on, I think. Yeah.
But I mean, talk about that, because there is a sense that this record is moving, and that I mean, just some of the song titles and the subject matter. I get the impression that, you know, you're still making music, you're still relevant, you're touring, you're going from city to city.
We're not touring all the time, but we're beginning to, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So somebody in my age group a little bit. It's like everybody wants to know you for what you did in the past, but I still write songs, so I want to get them out. And if you have to go and tour to plug the record, that's what we do. I like playing live, so.
Talk about that. I mean, that evolution, you know, in your career and.
I don't know if there's been any evolution. Devolution.
But I mean, you do, I guess, transform a little bit, and you know, you mentioned you don't want to be stuck to the past, and you want to be considered relevant and keep making music that's relevant. So, for you, you know, when did you know that you wanted to do that and you know, put out the solo records?
I don't know. I've just always done it. I mean, what happens with me more than anything else is that you write songs, and when you get more than 14 songs kicking around your head, you can't think straight, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and it bugs me that you think, actually, I've got some good songs here, and you hear some stuff in the charts in England on the radio, and it's like, you know, and Jim said to me, what have you been doing? Because we made a record a few years back, and you know, it wasn't a bad record, but that's how we met up. Jim used to work in the studio in London, and then he's sort of my neighbour in London and all, so we kind of hang out together. And he said, what have you been doing? I said, well, I've got these songs. And he said, well, let's listen to them. And he kind of dug them.
I kept going around, you know, bumping into Glenn and hearing these tracks he was working on. I was like, God, you got so many good tracks here. You know, you should really get in and make a record, you know.
Yeah, was that the producer in you kicking in?
Well, yeah, because every track I heard, I was like, oh my God, this will sound great if it's recorded, and just get in there and get a band on it. And yeah,
what happens when you're playing it? Do you have to sort of remove yourself from the production side of things?
Yeah, it's kind of weird actually, because it's the first time I've done this in.
And
you know,
how did you know?
I mean, I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's great to just get out of the behind the scenes and carry this project right from the ground, right through.
Do you have to catch yourself and sort of say like, hey, you know, I'm actually just playing here. I'm not going to nitpick and.
Yeah, no, exactly. You do have to let go of.
But
I'm just enjoying it.
But we do have a bit of a band vibe. It's not.
Oh, absolutely.
I try not to be too dictatorial about it, you know. And okay, the songs kind of go like this, but if you want to play it a little bit different, as long as you got the hook in there, that's fine, you know. Yeah. I mean, James Stevenson is playing guitar. He said to me, he said, I like playing with you because I can play what I like. And I said, well, as long as you play the bits that are the hooks of the song, you know.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to play a bad solo, it's you that's going to look an idiot, not me. You know.
Yeah.
You won't miss the point. But you don't, because he's a great guitarist.
It's a really catchy record. It's you know, it's the you know, there's parts where you can fist pump. There's parts where you can really sing along.
Yeah, but I'm quite pleased. I think there's some interesting stuff lyrically going on there. I mean, I'm not a teenager, so I've lived a bit more. I used to be at art school years ago.
Yeah.
And I kind of could paint a little bit, if that's what you want. But I didn't really follow it through because A, I got involved with the Sex Pistols in the summer holidays. Yeah. But B, I thought, what am I going to paint about? I haven't kind of lived any life in a minute. But these songs on here are all to do with the life I've lived over the past 30 odd years. So. And I was seeing something about John Lennon on the telly last night, trying to fight the jet lag. And when he remade his last album before when I say remade, he hadn't made an album for a good few years. And he did this interview saying how he's writing songs for himself, but he's not trying to write songs for the kids, he's trying to write songs for the people who kind of grew up with him, who followed him through, and who might be in a similar kind of position in their lives with their relationships or the world, how they relate to the world. And I guess I'm doing the same kind of thing.
One song that hit me right away was Hard Work, which I sort of thought really sums up what you're talking about, and you know what I mean? That you've...
Well, sometimes in life you feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. You want to do this and you want to do that, and it seems to me as a musician, a lot of the time is people in the industry exist to tell you can't do something, or it's too hard, or it costs too much, But I like to do things regardless of that, so you're just trying to kick the wall down all the time.
And I mean, talk about that, Hard Work.
Well, I just did.
Where did the song come from? I mean, because that was actually, was it an older song, or was it an older record?
That song is an older song, actually, but again, we kind of updated it, and I changed some of the lyrics here or there. But the gist of it is, it's kind of a bit most of my songs you can take with a bit tongue-in-cheek, and it's like when you're doing something and you think, God, that bloke is completely hard work, it's not like real, go down the steel mill, and do some hard work. It's like, it's so hard work when it could be easy if everything just running its way. But that's life, so you kind of work your way through that. I mean, at the end of the song, I said, sorry, hard work, but that's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way, because you want to succeed. If life is on a platter, there's no achievement there.
Now, where does that come from, that sort of that ethic? Because I get the impression, with the different reunion projects you've been involved in, this record, that you're always doing something. So why do you feel the need to always have to? I
don't know. That's what I do. If you're a musician, you don't play music, you're full of poo, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I guess so.
It gets boring hanging around.
Yeah.
And there's never that much on the telly. So that's what I do. And I like playing. I mean, I've not only been doing this. I've been doing some other things over the. In fact, I was in Toronto earlier on this year with. Was it this year or last year with Robert Gordon? I played. I just like playing.
ExploreMusic wears English Laundry apparel.